Okay, so thank you all for coming. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a very important subject, which is family structures. So very important to understand this as men, as women. Very important, because this cuts to the core of how families heal or how they break. The choice is up to the family, which way that goes. So we're going to talk about family systems. And by family, I mean that, there's family of origin, family of circumstance, family of your current friends and support people, family of blood. We have to broadly define family. So I'll tell you what happens. And since we have so usually by the time people come see me, so we'll call this the person. Around any person is a network. So a network is people who are connected to that person. So let's say someone is married. Let's say this is you, okay? Better than you, let's just say this is a person. So let's say this person is a male, and to him is married a wife. And together they have, a couple of kids. So we'll call it K1, K2, K3, kids. And then we have, usually, this is different than a genogram, and you'll see why. So then to this you have, you have mom, and you have dad, and you may have some siblings. We'll call those S1, S2, S3. Okay? That's pretty common, right? 4 brothers and sisters, mom and dad, married. Okay, so let's say you're an alcoholic. Alright? I want to just kind of, I want to explain how this works out. Of course, wife will have mom, right? Dad, and probably some siblings as well. So usually when people see me or they come to Nam, it's all played out in some way, and the person's the alcoholic, homeless, in jail, in the hospital. It all looks bad, and it all looks like it's his fault. That's usually by the time they come and see me. I rarely ever get involved in any of this until it's very late. This usually develops after 10, 20 years. So addiction addiction is a family disease. I'll say that again. Addiction is a family disease. It's a disease of family systems. Addiction is a stress-induced defect of the brain related to the family system. It afflicts more men than women, quite frankly, because women have better stress management systems than men do. Addiction is a stress-induced defect of the brain, and that stress is induced by family systems that are dysfunctional. I said that a couple of times because you need to understand that. And here's how it works. So, lots of times, people, they get married. Marriage is not just, this is why we say in early recovery, don't get into a relationship too quickly. Because of what I'm about to tell you. This is how the stress works. So, the guy gets married. Biggest mistake a guy can make is hoping his wife is like his mom. That doesn't go very well. And yet, drama triangles. So if addiction is a disease of this man, a drama triangle is the disease of the family. And so what happens is as soon as marriage happens, most men will admit to this, they start getting information. So dad tells them how it should be. They make comments. How come your wife is treating you like that? How come she's dressing like that? They don't say it to her. They say it to the guy. How come she's hanging out with her family? How come is she phoning? How come is she not at home? How come she's working? Why is she working there? They don't say any of that to the man or to the wife. They say it to him. So this guy starts getting information from dad, from mom. Everyone chips in. Sisters, brothers. Why? Because people don't like change. New person into the family. Oh, this person has changed. There's one really big, fast way to change, and that's get married and live with someone. No way to do that without fundamental change of personality. Because we have to adapt. Add to that, in East Indian, or in sort of collectivist cultures, in East Indian marriages and stuff, imagine if neither mom or dad ever approved of the other person, if it's a love marriage. It just gets hypercharged. They never approved in the first place. But what's universal is they don't talk to the wife. If they do, they don't talk their mind to the wife, but they do to the man because they're familiar with the man. And so what happens is the guy who doesn't have very good stress management skills in the first place, usually by this point he's already drinking a bit, right? Most people, they start drinking in their early 20s, late teens. They already don't have good, maybe they just immigrated. Not the best stress management, and then someone says, just get him married. And so person doesn't have a lot of stress management skills, and then they get subjected to this. And so communication is 99% non-verbal. What that means is, you're not a very good liar. You can't conceal it. So this person starts getting all this information. He can't hide it. Maybe he himself starts asking the question, yeah, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? They call this interference, right? Interference. Or interfere kar diya. And so then what happens then he passes some of this on to her. She becomes defensive. She becomes defensive, but not in an assertive way. Rarely does she give it right back. More often than not, if someone is under threat, at least in East Indian, South Asian households, usually the wife moves in with the man's family. That's one of the things that tends to happen. So she is unsupported. Her family oftentimes lives in India or some other place or another city or something. Or if they live in the same city, they're not in the same house. And so then what happens is anyone who's under stress, just look at Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine. What did Ukraine the Ukrainian president, he went to every country in the West and spoke to their parliaments, and he built allies. He got support. And so what she does is she reaches out and she starts recruiting the support, which she gets. And she can't help but reach out to the kids as well. Because the guy's already a bit of a drinker, she's got a far stronger connection to them than he does. And what happens is now everyone is starting to give it back. To the guy. If things go really far, maybe some of these guys. So, what happens is it gets hot. It starts boiling because he's being ground. And the more this goes, he starts fighting with his people, he starts fighting with her, and he's overwhelmed, he doesn't know what to do, and so he starts to drink more. And it just gets hotter and hotter, drink more and more. The kids continue to age, you know. They start giving it more and more. Because nothing about this situation resolves anything. There is no resolution. So the whole thing continues to grow. Crisis after crisis, fight after fight. You fight, you go to your allies, you get pumped up, you have another fight. Because there's no learning, there's no resolution, there's only, okay, yesterday is yesterday, so ho gaya, let's move on. And the man doesn't have very good coping skills. And so then he just kind of drinks more. And so all of this happens because communication is 99% nonverbal. So I was at an event, and someone comes up to me and tells me something about, oh yeah, so-and-so, you know, I know, yeah, Dr. Gill, you're all about counseling families and stuff. But I think it's his wife that really needs the counseling. You should really talk to her. Oh, you know what? I'll talk to her so she talks to you. And the end result of that is, again, you've heard me talk about this, it's like trying to put a fire out with gasoline. It looks like a liquid, it looks like water, but it's not water. Putting it on the fire actually makes it worse. The thing is that there's drama triangles. A drama triangle is aggressor, victim, rescuer. When every relationship is characterized by, and by this point, this guy's not getting along with his mom either. Not getting along with his dad either. But everyone's stuck. They don't know what to do. Every relationship is characterized by drama. And so, people ask me, why do people drink more as time goes on? It's because life just gets more complicated. You have kids grow up, kids have kids. If no one learns what's happening, this just kind of grows like a mortgage, you know? You just keep paying interest. Never pay the principal, you're going to be paying for a lot of money. So, this is how addiction is a family disease, because this is not this guy's fault alone. The wife owns it. The well-meaning mom and dad own it. They just want the best for their son. The sisters and the brothers own it. They want the best for their brother. And the in-laws own it. Everyone owns it. And that's why you can take this guy. This is common, right? I get, NOM's a housing program. we take this guy, we put him in Nom Nuas, right? And just kind of, But the trouble is, I think Nom Nuas is pretty great. I think our housing program is pretty awesome. But the thing is I sure as heck hope he doesn't go back into that. Because if nothing changes, he's going to go back into that. And I don't care how many coping skills he's learned, it's not going to be enough. He's either going to have to separate, and that happens. People divorce, they break up, and that's how families disintegrate. Someone in this system says, this is crazy. The siblings say, I don't want any part of this. They're like, this is crazy. I keep it in your own house. And people start breaking away. So, this is how families disintegrate. And everyone knows this. So, what's the solution? The solution is for everyone to examine themselves. The solution is when people begin to communicate in a way that does not make the situation worse. So that is using, for example, coaching. coaching language. Learning how to communicate. Yeah, I have a lecture on YouTube that's all about I have a couple of them. Go and watch them. Learn how to communicate. Because the thing is, once one person learns how to communicate, a lot of people will. If one person starts to communicate better, a lot of people will communicate easier. It has to start with one person, and oftentimes it is this person that comes out, goes to a treatment program. But if you want to really enhance treatment outcomes, then all these people need to be involved in the recovery. Not all of them will want to be involved. That's okay. But oftentimes there's at least one or two people that care a lot. You can start with them. And over years, this is why we say, you know what? I say 1 to 3 years post sobriety. That's usually how long it takes for families to start to come together. A lot of the things that we teach about healing families, and here is the tip. So let's say this is you, or let's say this is you. Let's say you're the mom. So the thing is every relationship, it has its positives. And let's say that's, so if this problem has been going on for like 20 years, let's say the healthy part of the relationship's at 20% positive and 80% negative. -80% So if every relationship has, let's say with the dad, it's 90% negative and 10% positive. Every relationship will have this balance. That's going to be based on the history, the trauma, all this stuff. Every relationship will have some positive and some negative. So what this person can start doing, or any of these people, whoever cares enough and wants to do it, they can start working on their resentments. So if the dad has a 90% negative relationship with the alcoholic guy, so this dad can begin to do some trauma processing, which is a fancy word for forgiveness, praying, meditating, go to a yoga retreat, go start doing some things to neutralize the memory. And there's lots of lectures on the NOM account on how to do that. But what's going to happen is, and what happens during the treatment program, if I have someone like this in my program, what I do with them is I bring them into awareness of the 80% of resentment, and they start detoxifying that. They use flash technique. They use other things to work on those relationships so that when they go in, it's no longer a pressure cooker. They can see it for what it is. If mom says something negative to him about his wife, he says it back to her, saying, I see what you're trying to say. What do you think about just communicating that directly to the wife? No, don't want to do that? Okay, I'm just going to leave it with you then. Thank you for the input, but I'm not going to, you have to understand this toxifies my mind. I learned in treatment, communication is 99% nonverbal. So if I hear a lot of this, I can't help but pass it to my wife, which is just going to turn up the pressure cooker, and it's going to drive me crazy, and I'm going to drink, and you want me to drink? No, I know you don't want me to drink. So please just keep your helpful advice about my wife to yourself, or take it directly to her. Because it makes me want to drink. I don't want to drink. Awkward? Yeah, very awkward. These are words they would never have imagined to come out of your mouth. But this is exactly the kind of words that you have to explain. Because this is a family systems disease. And unless we, relationship by relationship, and you know what makes this really easy? Is if you have done, let's say your relationship has this much red, you have that much resentment against mom, and you've done flash on that resentment, you've done that technique to release some stuff, you've prayed a lot, done your ardas, whatever, you neutralize it, then all of a sudden, it becomes easier to say the truth, which is, I can't hear these things and keep them inside me. Communication is 99% nonverbal. When you take the emotion of the history that you have with that person out of it, it's actually pretty easy to have the conversation. They'll think you're weird. They may even get upset. But because you've detoxified it, oh, you're my son, you're being more loyal to your wife. That's not what I said, Mom. I know this is hard for you to hear. My mind is just, it can't handle stress without drinking, so I have to take steps to protect myself and my wife. A question I ask every husband is who's going to be living with you longer? Is it going to be mom or is it going to be wife? Choose carefully. Who do you sleep with? Who's on the other side of the bed? Is it mom? No? Then choose carefully. And in a healthy family system, you don't have to choose. Mom and wife are different. They have different roles. The roles are equally important. Every role, every person matters. And you have to communicate. In order to withstand the stress of that communication, you have to develop self-therapy. And a pretty robust practice. Because I can tell you, mom isn't going to like to hear that. But mom needs to hear that. Not once, but likely again and again and again until she stops. And if she's ever interested, sees a professional. We love to work with families. And just like the lady who approached me over the weekend, yeah, I don't think I need this, but my husband's wife really does. Actually, you all do. We can only do our one bit. Everybody wants to convince the other people to do the hard work. We all got to do it, and that's for all of these people. They need their own counselors. They need their own system. At NOM, we do a lot of family programming because this is important. If this stress can be reduced by 50%, relapse goes down by 80%. There's no medication that's like that. Oh, please, just give him a little medication. He'll be okay. You can see why no one's okay with a little bit of medication. Because grinding. And men, especially women, but hey, you know what, if it's bad enough, women do it too. They drink, they drug, everyone has their poison. Shopping, drama, lots of ways, unhealthy ways to lift off stress. So this is the problem, and this is how addiction affects a family system. And so it's a very important aspect to understand, and that's what we reviewed today. We're going to go to our question and answer segment and build on this. It's not my intention to misspeak, but if I have, I apologize. And just so you know, this is, I made this family system up. So if it represents any of yours, it's not meant to. It's just, this is just top of my mind. Thank you.